What would you do if you worked your whole life, saved up $800,000, and in the blink of an eye, you were scammed? Well, this is what happened to this man, and I want you to hear his story.
90-year-old scammed out of his life savings, and the bank said they couldn't help.
That's when he reached out to 7 on Your Side. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda shows us how he helped get the man his $800,000 back.
At 90 years old, Irving Rosenberg moves slowly. Walking is difficult. His hearing is impaired. But the hardest thing he's dealing with now isn't his health. It's the loss of nearly everything he saved over a lifetime.
I was very angry and frustrated. He took all my life savings. I was hurt.
Rosenberg says the withdrawals from his savings account began in April, check after check, all in the tens of thousands of dollars, adding up to $814,000. Rosenberg says he never wrote checks from that savings account and never authorized anyone else to either. When he realized what was happening, he went to the bank, Wells Fargo, looking for help.
They put it to investigation. Investigation could go forever.
Rosenberg's nephew, who now helps manage his affairs, contacted 7 on Your Side and asked for help. He says when he looked at copies of the cash checks, he noticed right away the signature was phony.
If you look at all the checks that were written, none of them even have close to his signature.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. My name is AB Ridgeway. This is another episode of the Ridgeway Report. And man, this is tough to wake up one day and to see all this money out of your account. Now, it's a little confusing. He said he wrote checks out of his savings account. Typically, you can't write checks out of your savings account. So maybe it was a checking account and they're just making a reference as money that he has been saving up. Because why am I making this distinction? Is because if you have money in your savings account and you don't have check writing privileges, which a majority of people don't, then someone can't write these fraudulent checks out of your savings account. Now, if the money's in your checking account, yes, they can write these checks out and they can take all the money out. So as a precautionary word of advice, you may want to consider moving a majority of your assets into a savings account and only keeping things for your bills, maybe some incidentals in your checking account. So if something like this does happen, it protects a majority of your savings. So as a financial advisor, I'm looking at this like, okay, he has $800,000 in a savings account. I don't know his personal finances, but I'm assuming that this is all of his retirement or maybe his Social Security that comes in, he's put into the savings account. 1, he's not doing anything with it. 2, once again, it's not growing. It's just sitting there. And 3, look what happens to the protection. He doesn't have anybody in his corner to actually be a barrier. Now, luckily, he introduced his nephew. His nephew stepped in, and it looks like they're taking the steps to get some of this money back. But this is after the injury has already occurred. Everyone may not be so lucky to get that money back. Having someone that you can trust, like a financial advisor, someone who could look over your accounts and say, hey, listen, these withdrawals are a little suspicious. Let me reach out to the account owner and Mr. or Mrs. Client, I'm getting a request for $10,000. Did you do this? That is the personal relationship you can have with a financial advisor. With a bank, you get a 1-800 number, you may get a customer service rep, but having a personalized financial advisor, they are automatically going to recognize this signature doesn't look right. They are going to be your representation when you can't represent yourself. Now, you may be thinking, Mr. Ridgeway, he's 90 years old. What does he need to do with the $800,000? So what? It's not a so what. Even though he has $800,000, he may or may not need it. If he has it in an investment that's properly allocated for him, he can designate beneficiaries where he can avoid probate, where he can set up his future generations, even use some investment vehicles to help get to his favorite charity in a tax efficient manner. Also, the assets have a potential to grow. So his life savings doesn't just sit there. It starts to compound, get bigger and bigger, and there could be more impact for those that he loves. Maybe for his nephew. Maybe if he was invested, maybe his nephew gets an extra $10,000 or $20,000 for all the hard work and the love that he's shown during his life.
Rosenberg received this letter from Wells Fargo. The bank said it's denying his fraud claim and that he can't be reimbursed because too much time had passed before he contacted the bank. His nephew was told there's a 60-day reporting window, a policy he believes ignores the realities facing elderly customers.
And I went back to him and said, wait a second, he's 90. He's got a little bit of dementia. He can't hear. He can barely walk. And you guys have no help at all for him.
Satin also wonders why such massive withdrawals, many of them in the span of just a few weeks, weren't flagged.
I don't understand why something like this wasn't caught at all.
After we began asking questions, the family says Wells Fargo's executive office finally reached out.
Since I contacted you and you contacted them, they've contacted me at least 5 times.
They're more responsive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely more responsive.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Do I have a lot of confidence that he's going to see any money? I don't know.
And as we were putting the story together, we got good news. Wells Fargo sending us an email and contacting the family that they were going to approve this claim. Your nephew told us
Amen.
they weren't contacting you at all, but after we called them, suddenly they started contacting you.
Yeah, well, I thank Channel 7 for doing that.
Let's listen to the statement that they made after the news got involved. Now, once again, this is a big bank, a little person, who cares? And when you start getting some news coverage and you start to tarnish that relationship, then people start doing things that they should have been doing in the first place.
Statement from Wells Fargo says, after working with our customer and their designated power of attorney and reviewing additional information, we are pleased to share that we are returning Mr. Rosenberg's money back to his account. Fraud prevention remains a top priority, and we encourage all customers to review their statements monthly and report anything suspicious right away so we can act quickly to protect them. Rosenberg told me he is very grateful. Until we got involved, he wasn't sure he would ever see his money again.
Brothers and sisters, I do not want this to happen to you. As I said before, as we age, our cognitive ability starts to decline. As this man here, he has dementia, he's hard of hearing, and he still seems to be in good physical shape. He's walking around, he's able to talk a little bit. But once again, brothers and sisters, we need that representation. We need that power of attorney. We need that executor. We need people in those positions to help us if something should happen. And it doesn't happen when you're 90. I'll just wait till I'm 75 or I'm 80. This can happen when you're 50, 55, 60, when you're recently retired, at any point in time. That's why when working with a financial advisor, we help identify who these people are and what their titles are and what are some of the pros and cons. As a financial advisor, do I think that Wells Fargo had a change of heart? No. What I think happened, Channel 7 reached out, they started to do some investigations, and they found the ring. They found the lead master. So did they recover the $800,000? They probably did. Now, did they recover more? I am sure, because if this person did it to this old man, I am sure he did it to hundreds and maybe even thousands. Once Wells Fargo found all of that money and was able to reclaim it, then I think they gave him back the $800,000. That's what I think. Now, as far as the other people that they found or found out that was fraudulent, do you think that they told them? I don't think so. I don't think that they told them and said, hey, we reached out, we found a ringleader who had all this check fraud. Here's some reimbursement for all the accounts that they affected. I don't think that happened. I think they're more than willing to give it to this person here, let the time last for the 60 and just call it a day where they still profit. So is the bank losing? I don't think the bank is losing. Nothing against that bank, but it's really big business over here. So this is a great story for this individual, but don't assume that the bank is going to always do this in your case. Yes, there are some times that we can step up and we can reclaim some of our money and things that we are entitled to when we get scammed. But having that point of contact, having that protection, having the people on your side is really going to help you. So if you need some help, maybe you're living by yourself, you really don't have any close friends or family, and you just feel a little bit overwhelmed, or you're a little uncomfortable about retiring and thinking about your cognitive decline, and you need some help, you can schedule a consultation in the link below, because that is going to help you organize your life so you can actually introduce some people that you trust and you love so you can rest in retirement peacefully. Well, that's it for me. My name is AB Ridgeway. This is another episode of the Ridgeway Report, and I'll see you in another video.